there a problem?
No, shall there be?
You just look miles away.
I was just thinking how refreshed you look.
I'm going in, the water's lovely.
Do we have time?
You don't have to leave until 12.
No, I won't bother. I prefer to get my refreshment by other means.
You're beginning to sound more and more like Dad every day.
Oh, don't remind me. Jack Rolfe's the last person I want on my mind.
Believe me, I know the feeling. I hope this reception works.
Well, there's no reason why it shouldn't. Blue ribbon's a pretty hot design, even though I do say so myself.
It's not the boat that I'm worried about. It's Sabio. He's the man we need to impress. Otherwise, I'll never clinch this export order. Ah, grazie lovely.
What's wrong?
I have to take a long-distance phone call from England. Apparently extremely urgent.
Well, it's not the sort of thing I'd want to discuss over the phone, Sir John. I was hoping we might meet. How about Alice?
I don't want to think of names, Gran.
Well, yes, that would be fine. I'm free for lunch today.
Of course, if it's a boy, you could call it Yannick, after your grandfather.
Gran, why don't we wait until after the baby's born?
Good. Look forward to see you then.
Got it. The Evening Star.
Isn't that rather a strange name for a child, Mother?
Yes, dear. For a child, but not for a horse. He's running the 3:30, and I thought I might just put a little something in it for the baby.
Gran, the baby's not even here yet.
I know, dear, but it soon will be. And if Evening Star comes through, why don't I open a banking account and put my winnings in it for the baby?
Forget about the baby, will you please, Gran?
Something I said?
He's got a lot on his mind at the moment.
Evidently.
Well, things aren't going too well at work. Adel's not being particularly helpful about the development of the power boat. And what with Abby and William and Orrin, and now the new baby.
So he's feeling under pressure.
That's right. As they say, the course of true love never runs smooth. Particularly at Leo's age.
Doesn't run smooth for anyone, dear. Even at my age. Oh, of course, I'm not having any problems with anyone.
Is there someone?
Jan, my courting days are over.
That doesn't exactly answer my question.
Well, there isn't anyone in your sense of the word, but I am rather fond of someone at the moment. Strictly friends, of course.
Oh, yes, of course.
Who?
Morning, Vicky.
Good morning.
You're in early.
Yes, I just wanted to catch up on some paperwork. Try and clear my desk a bit so I can finish typing Laura's marketing report. Which reminds me. There was a message on the machine when I arrived from Laura. She won't be coming in till later. She's got a couple of appointments.
Where?
Oh, she didn't say. Have you, seen this morning's headlines?
Yes. It seems as if Freya Holdings is going to get nailed once and for all, doesn't it?
Well, let's just hope the same thing doesn't happen to Leisure Cruise.
What's that supposed to mean?
This arrived in the morning mail.
But this is marked strictly private and confidential.
Yes, that's right.
But it's open.
Well, I only noticed it was marked confidential after I'd opened it. Look, I'm not prying or anything, if that's what you're thinking, Ken. I should read it. It is important.
Oh. Well, that's all I need.
Mr. Freya, what's your reaction to the rapid drop in share prices in Freya Holdings?
Understandable in the circumstances.
By circumstances, are you referring to the impending trial?
I'm referring to irresponsible coverage, not to say speculation by the media. I'm quite sure that when Mr. Urquhart and I have been acquitted, the situation will very soon stabilise.
And assuming you and Mr. Urquhart aren't acquitted?
No comment.
Mr. Urquhart, would you care to comment? Mr. Freya and I have already released formal statements. Any further questions should be saved for our next press conference.
I was hoping that if we cooperated with the press, they'd be a bit more cooperative. Stop all this damn speculation. They're pronouncing us guilty before we've even gone to court. It's hardly surprising our share prices are down. Perhaps the newspaper publishers would think differently if they were engaged in a few lawsuits of their own. We've got quite enough on, Charles, without issuing for libel. When are we seeing this barrister? What's her name? Lee Simmons? 10 o'clock. Well, let's see what she's got to say about it.
If there is anything to be gained by the press, she won't down. According to Cosgrove, she's razor sharp. The very best.
You damn well better be. We're going to need the very best to come through all this unscathed. Yeah, it looks very good. All right? Laura.
Hello, James. Well, this is quite a setup. I'm impressed.
What are you doing here?
The thing is, Abby, I was looking for something different, something really special to commemorate the yard's birthday celebrations. I decided on a Victorial, and I'm so glad you're going to do the photograph.
Thank you, thanks very much. I think the yard must have a very interesting history. A picture is a good idea.
In theory, yes. But I think you'd better reserve judgment until you find out who's insisted on doing the editorial.
I need a decision, Jack, on Freer's 6 metre.
Look, listen, just hang on a minute, will you? You're interrupting my train of thought.
Seems like anything's interrupting your train of thought since you started on that book.
Yeah, but it isn't a book.
Well, whatever it's supposed to be. Look, do you want Roger and Dave pulled off the 6 metre and put on the trailer sailor or not?
Whatever you do is fine by me, Bill.
Well, what about Tom? What's he going to say when he comes back from the Mediterranean and finds out we're behind production on the 6 metre?
Jack, we're behind production on the 6 metre.
Very funny. Well, if you're not concerned about it, what should I be?
That's right. Listen, do whatever you have to do, and if you've got any problems, just contact me, okay? Oh,
Good morning, how are you getting along?
do you know, I'd get along better if I was allowed to get along. Oh, how are you, Abby?
Oh, fine, thank you. A bit better than you by the sound of it.
I've discussed the assignment with Abby.
Oh, interested?
Yes, I am, very.
Good.
As long as I can see everything you've written so I can match the shots. Then we'll have to discuss the layout sometime.
Oh, no problems, no problems.
When can you let Abby have the first few chapters?
Oh, a couple of weeks with a bit of luck.
Weeks. Did you say weeks?
I could have something sooner than that, otherwise I couldn't possibly keep the deadline.
Jack, you don't think perhaps someone else should write the editorial?
Vanessa, I'm the only one qualified to write the history of the Mermaid Yard.
Yes. Well, just how far are you then?
The title.
What are you up to anyway?
I told you. I'm looking for ways to expand my business.
Yeah, right. Come on, Esme.
No. I happen to think that Hardbrook has a future.
Yeah, so do I. So you can just forget whatever you've planned. I'm not selling my shares.
Look, I'm quite sure we can come to some satisfactory arrangement whereby you retain an active role in the business.
I don't think so.
What if I increase my offer?
You'll be wasting your time.
No. You're wasting mine. You disappoint me, James.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought you'd have been more cooperative. Especially after what happened to Nicola.
Are you never going to let me forget that?
I wonder how the fashion community throughout Europe would react if they knew. Much the same as they did in the States, I dare say.
Even you wouldn't do that.
Try me. Now, have you talked to Jan about my proposal?
Leave Jan out of this.
What time did she get back from her meeting?
About now, if you don't mind, I think you should leave.
No, I think I should stay and then we can all discuss it together.
Look,
I finally have got a chance to sort my life out. Do not wreck it.
Well, at least you had the chance. Nicola didn't. Such a sweet girl, wasn't she? Had so much to live for. I saw her parents, you know, before I got back from the States. They're still torn apart by it. Such a tragedy. What's the matter, Jimmy? Does it still hurt?
What do you think?
I think I'm going to leave you to think about it. And then perhaps you might be more open to negotiation. You know what I am. I'll expect to hear from you.
Ah, Miss Simmons. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I'm Charles Freer,
How do you do, Mr. Freer?
and this is my chief executive, Gerald Urquhart.
Mr. Urquhart?
How do you do?
Please sit down, gentlemen.
Oh, very kind. Thank you.
I gather from your secretary that you had a press conference scheduled earlier this morning.
Yes, indeed, I did. Press being what they are, I thought it was high time I issued a formal statement. Stop all this speculation.
Please ensure that in future you clear any statements with me.
Assuming you're appointed counsel to handle the case.
No, assuming I accept. Let's get down to business, shall we?
Cancel my luncheon appointment tomorrow because I'm seeing my solicitor.
Ken, what did he say to you about you receiving that summons?
Well, I'll know by tomorrow and keep you informed.
Look, I'm really not trying to pry or anything. I'm honestly just interested. Well, I'm concerned. I mean, why should you be summoned to give evidence at Charles Frere and Gerald Urquhart's trial?
Well, I did a bit of business with Frere Holdings in the past and they let me down. It was the prosecution trying to build up a case, that's all.
You hope. If I were you, I'd be careful you're not let down again. I mean, Charles Frere seems the type to me to switch things around to his own advantage.
Well, bear that in mind. But, I mean, do you mind getting on with typing those letters I dictated?
Ken, it isn't just my opinion. It's my uncle's. I was discussing the case with him the other evening.
Well, is he a solicitor or something?
No, Sir Alan Rockwell, chairman of Confederated Industries.
Oh.
And if he doesn't have an opinion on Frere's business dealings, well, then nobody does. I mean, he is a city institution, and also a close friend of Sir Edward, Frere's father. Leisure cruise. May I ask who's calling? Hold the line a moment and I'll check. James Brooke, are you in?
I'll take that in my office. Oh, and Vicky, do you mind going down to the showroom? See how Simon's getting on with the Henderson contract?
Yes, of course.
Great. Ken Mustard.
Ken, it's James.
Yes, I am aware of that, and so is my secretary. Do you mind using my direct line in future?
It's a little late to be cautious. Laura's just left.
Oh?
But we gotta meet and work something out.
What does she want?
It's a bit difficult to say right now.
You mean you can't talk freely?
Yeah, right, but let's meet for a drink.
Right, let's go somewhere where we won't be disturbed. Do you know Del Key? See you at the pub.
Okay, about 2 o'clock.
Do well.
Jan. So, how'd it go the outlets?
Fine. Business is up 5% this month.
Terrific.
Who is that on the phone?
Hmm?
On the phone?
Oh, it's nobody important. It's not business. It's just an old friend. There's a hose pipe ban in force, madam.
Not until tonight, there isn't. Oh, Francis, you gave me a shock.
You damn near gave me a soaking. Still, there's nothing new about that for a naval officer.
I wasn't expecting you till 12.
Well, I thought I might as well come along early so that you could brief me about what horses I'm going to back this afternoon.
We can do that when we get to the racecourse. First, I want you to give me a hand. I was hoping to finish weeding that bed over there before I left.
Mr. Urquhart, according to your broker's files, you purchased your McLean leisure shares on the 12th.
Yes, I believe that was the date.
And a week later, you announced your interest in the same company, Mr. Frere. Coincidence?
I prefer to think of it more in terms of a sensible business strategy. My chief executive identifies an investment opportunity. Would you really expect me to ignore it?
So what do? You effect the transaction through a nominee company. Why? In the hopes that the business community ignores it?
If you're referring to Diacra Holdings, there is certainly nothing illegal about my using a nominee company to front an initial takeover bid.
An unacceptable answer as far as the prosecution will be concerned, Mr. Frere.
It's also an unacceptable question. Certainly a leading one with a tendency to misconstrue.
Mr. Urquhart, if I'm conducting the defence, I wouldn't want to rely on an objection to any question on a mere technicality.
Perhaps Mr. Cosgrove would adopt a different view. He's represented both Mr. Urquhart and I in the past, on a number of occasions, very successfully.
Tell me, Mr. Frere, do you pursue an active interest in art?
Why do you ask?
Please answer the question. Do you pursue an active interest in art?
I'm afraid I hardly see the relevance.
Why are you so unwilling to answer? What have you got to hide?
Really, I must be... Yes.
I would suggest that your reserve concerns a payment of £100,000 to a certain art centre.
Not a payment, a donation.
Oh, yes, a donation to a charitable trust in your name. An honourable gesture until one discovers that the building is owned by a subsidiary of Frere Holdings and that over the past year the value of the land rose and effectively doubled your original donation.
Well, I would hardly consider Frere Holdings responsible for the increase in the value of the land.
Well, you wouldn't, would you, Mr. Urquhart? According to my research, you devised a scheme to write off a further £300,000 against operating costs.
I resent the implication.
Gerald, calm down. Let Miss Simmons have her say.
You may have made a donation of £100,000 to the Arts Centre, Mr. Frere, but your company benefited by a sum of over £500,000. Quite legitimately, perhaps. But if I were the prosecution, believe me, it would appear anything but legitimate. Mr. Cosgrove may view it all quite differently, of course. You're welcome to approach him to handle your defence. I'll only accept the case on one condition, that I conduct it my way.
Very well, Miss Simmons. I'm sure we can accept your terms and conditions.
Good. Now, before I accept, there is something else I need to discuss. Are you both guilty? Thanks, Yvette. Bye.
Well?
She says there's room in her show if we're interested.
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Yvette Studer is one of the major promoters in the fashion world.
Yeah?
Well, if we participate in one of her shows, we could be well on our way.
Yeah, what to?
Well, to expansion.
If the show is a success, yes.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because doing business in England is one thing and doing business in Europe is another.
I don't believe this. The first time I brought it up, you were all for it. Why the sudden change?
No change. I'm just trying to be practical.
Then why don't you come to have lunch with Sir John and me and see what he has to say about it?
I can't.
Why not?
Because I already have a lunch date.
Well, then cancel it.
I can't. It's important.
You said earlier it wasn't. James, is there something troubling you?
It's a personal matter.
How long, Jack?
Well, that depends. We might run into a few snags.
But our marketing and advertising campaign is scheduled to coincide with the official launch of the cruiser at the end of the month. Now, I don't want to have to implement penalty clauses, but I do have to protect my interests. Well, it's nothing personal, you understand.
There'll be no need for penalty clauses, will there, Jack?
Well, we'll do our best, but I can't guarantee it. I mean, Leisure Cruise can't have it both ways, you know. We're already working on your new commission, which Ken wants ready in no time at all.
What new commission?
Trailer seller.
The trailer sailor?
You obviously know nothing about it.
No, I don't.
Well, it was, only commissioned last week.
And that's what's held up production on the cruiser.
Look, Laura, I can understand you're being concerned, but I don't think it'd be wise for the mermaid yard to get involved. It's a matter between you and Ken. Why don't you discuss it with him?
Yes, I intend to. Oh, Jack, I want that cruiser available for launching at the end of the month, no later.
As I said, we'll do our best.
Remember, any further delay could be costly for both of us. Lovely to see you again, Vanessa.
And you.
Wow. Now that's what I call being forced into a tight corner.
Oh, come on, I've got to
Wait a minute. Hang on. Okay, this is good, this is good. Oh, no, you're not a model selling toothpaste. You don't pose or anything. You know, just get on with your job.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah.
I still don't see you have anything to worry about.
Oh, perhaps not. But where Charles is concerned.
Your secretary didn't say anything about him implicating you.
Yes, but that's the problem. Being summoned to appear for the prosecution.
He's the one on trial, not you.
I wouldn't be too sure about that.
Nothing to hide. Have you?
No, no.
Then why do you seem so concerned?
I don't think now's the right time to discuss it.
Buenos días, Abril. ¿Cómo estás? Estás muy preciosa, muy elegante.
Estoy muy contenta de verte, Sabio. Especialmente en Malta. Oh, Sabio, Tom Howard.
Sabio, it's a pleasure to meet you, at last.
Tom, the pleasure's all mine. Barracuda, Spring, first-class designs.
Gracias.
De nada.
Wait until they see blue ribbon.
Best don't wait too long. Otherwise, we miss the official reception.
We can't have that, can we?
No, come on, let's go.
Well, now, how much you expect to raise?
Well, that depends on how quickly we expand, but initially I would say 200,000.
I see. Of course, it's the right time to consider exporting just now, with the trade barriers being lifted.
And the fashion show in Malta is an ideal launch, Sir John.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I heard on the grapevine that your ex is launching his own designs on the Mediterranean.
That's what gave me the idea. I was talking to Tom and Avril about Relton Marine plans in the Mediterranean, and I suddenly thought, well, I ought to explore the possibilities myself. So, what do you think the bank will say, Sir John?
Well, I think the bank should be very interested. But you do realize that I'm no longer the sole decision-maker there, don't you?
No, I didn't.
Thanks to our mutual acquaintance, Edward Freer.
Why? What happened?
I was eased out of the chairmanship, so to speak. I had counted on Edward's support, but sadly, when it came down to it, it simply wasn't there.
After all those years of friendship.
Yeah, 40 years. Now, you were fortunate to sever connections when you did, my dear, believe you me. Loyalty is a virtue with some people, but with Edward, alas, it proved to be nothing more than an embarrassing liability.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be, I'm sure I'm not.
But you still have a seat on the board.
Oh, yeah. And you can count on my support. I'll do everything I can to help.
I'd be extremely grateful.
It'll be a pleasure. So, here's to your enterprises.
Thank you.
You know, I'm delighted that you appear to be doing so well. You really seem to have fallen on your feet with this new partner of yours.
Yes, hopefully.
What did you say his name was? Brooke?
That's right. James Brooke.
James Brooke. He wouldn't have been in America by any chance, would he?
Yes, he was.
Yes, James Brooke. It rings a bell. I must have done business with him before somewhere, I suppose.
whole design concept was versatility.
And I'm sure you'll agree, Emilio, that blue ribbon is certainly versatile.
Encantado.
I'm glad you could come. We must talk further.
Emilio Sanchez, he must be one of our most difficult clients. But I actually think I saw him smile.
Sabio, can you blame me? Faced with the charm of this lady.
No, not really.
I can't take any credit. It's all down to Tom's designs. Oh, you know, Emilio was very interested in blue ribbon for his flotilla sailing packages.
Ah, very lucrative.
Extremely.
Have you had any other feedback?
Yes, plenty. All our clients are very impressed and keen to examine all your other designs, Tom.
Very encouraging.
And that is not all. I've been inundated with requests for more information about Relton's complete product range.
So does that mean you finally accepted my proposals?
Yes, of course. But I'm afraid you'll have to be patient, Abby. I need to go to my lawyers to go over the final details of the contract. And now, if you'll excuse me, I must go back and do my duty as host.
Yes, of course.
Ciao. Hey, what's the matter?
I just wanted this deal signed, sealed, and delivered. That's
Oh, you heard what Sabio said. It all takes time.
too much. He's stalling or something.
Come on.
No. Something's wrong. I just know it.
And tell me more about this new commission of yours.
It's a pictorial of the yard, past and present, to commemorate the mermaid's 200th birthday.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, if it turns out all right, but I don't think it will. Jack Rolf's doing the editorial.
Well, you might just surprise everyone and get it completed on time.
I shouldn't think so.
Who arranged it?
Vanessa.
According to Avril, Vanessa had quite a successful career in the PR world.
Yeah, she ran her own company. Built it up to be one of the biggest, I think.
Must have a lot of useful contacts.
Yes.
Just interested?
Come on, I know you better than that. What have you got in mind?
So what happens if I don't agree to sell?
If you tell me what Laura said, it might help.
You know I met her in the States. Well, she knows everything that happened to me.
Everything?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
I told you. How the hell was I supposed to know you're going to go into business with her? You're going to have to do something about it.
Oh? Like what? I can't very well confront Laura, can I? Otherwise she'd really have something on you. And me.
Jan is becoming more and more suspicious.
Then you've got to play it more and more carefully.
I do not know how much longer I want to go on like this.
Never bothered you before.
Yeah, but it's different now. It's different. Jan means a great deal to me.
You're not getting involved, are you?
Jan has become very important to me, and I do not want to do anything that will hurt her.
You've got no alternative. Unless you want to be hurt yourself.
You'd be doing yourself a big favor if you remember that.
The runners are now in the paddock for the next race of the afternoon, the Thompson Trophy run over 5 furlongs. There are 2 changes to the printed program.
See anything you fancy, Kate?
Evening Star.
What about Drew Gold?
Don't like the look of him at all.
Well, he won in a camper last time, huh?
You and I could have run against that field, Francis. Don't waste your money.
Don't spoil my fun, Kate.
How about a small side wager?
Name it.
You're still on the Council's planning committee, aren't you?
What's that got to do with Drew Gold?
I want you to photostat a few documents for me.
I can't do that.
Please, Francis. It's important to me. Anyway, the contents of those documents will be public knowledge in a few weeks' time. All I'm asking you to do is jump the gun a little. That is, always assuming that Drew Gold loses you the wager.
And if Drew Gold wins?
I have to pay the penalty.
Dinner on Saturday?
Go on. Mermaid Yard? Oh, hello. No. No, nothing important. Well, how about my place? Around 7? Right. Look forward to seeing you too. Bye.
Who was that?
Oh, just a personal call.
I thought you were supposed to be working tonight on the press releases for the Mermaid Yarn.
I'm not supposed to be working, Jack. I am working.
Ah. Sounded more like you were meeting someone socially.
Don't tell me you're jealous.
Who, me? No. No, not at all, not at all.
Good.
No, I was just wondering who was on the phone, that's all.
And how was your lunch?
Fine. How about yours? How'd it go with Sir John?
Very well. He's going to try and convince the bank to give us the working capital.
Well then.
Well, I hope you've not got anything organised for tonight.
No.
Good, because I want to go through the accounts. I promised Sir John a cash flow projection by tomorrow.
All right.
You don't know Sir John, do you?
I know of him. Why?
It's just that he thought he might know you.
Huh?
Is he not sure where? Thinks it might be from America?
No, I don't think so.
He was on the board of an American bank once, First Global. Did you ever have dealings with that bank?
Followed by Tubby and Redskin Credit. These three tied together.
What did I tell you, Kate? He's going to pay.
It's too exciting, Francis. I think these ladies moved away.
Nonsense, the race to the bank.
Chance. Green Star, get him all on. Come on, come on, come on. That's a good boy. Come on. Come on, that's a day. That's it.
At the line, Evening Star, followed by Drugo. Number 8, Evening Star. Second, Drugo. And third, Redskin Credit.
Wasn't that a fantastic run?
Fantastic. That's right.
So, shall we say 6 o'clock? Good. I'll see you then, John. Bye.
I don't know how you do it, Charles.
I haven't yet.
You shut Stevens out in the cold when he's working for your father, then when you think he'd be of some use to us, as if you're talking to a long-lost friend.
That's business. Besides, John's been around long enough to know how to play the game. He's also shrewd enough to know that we can be of some use to him.
Managed to coax him back into the fold?
I damn well hope so.
So do I. P. Simmons is certainly going to need someone on the stand to testify on our behalf.
Yeah, that's not all. If Stevens does end up testifying in court, could help divert attention elsewhere, away from us.
Sarah Foster?
Why not? She was responsible for the McLean Leisure investigations in the first place.
Difficult to make a case of it.
I don't see why. It's a fact that you and I rely solely on information provided by our senior executives.
You can't put all the blame on her.
And I wasn't just referring to Sarah Foster. Where'd she get her information from?
You wouldn't, Charles.
Now listen, we need every damn defense we can get. Quite sure the court would be more than interested in examining the business methods of Avril Rolfe. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's but what about this? What about this one?
Abby and Leo's baby is certainly going to be spoiled. At least by his grandfather.
His? It could be hers.
His or hers. I'm sure the baby will love the present. It's so soft.
You sure you don't want it for yourself?
Don't tempt me.
I think I'd better take it, otherwise the baby might miss out. How much is it? That's it.
That's it.
Feel better now? See, all you have to do is sail away from all your pressures. Export all those clients, even for a few hours. It would work wonders.
Trouble is, it's all waiting for me when I get back.
Well, there's no rush to get back to the mainland, is there? Why don't we find a restaurant? Stay for dinner?
All right.
In fact, I think I know the perfect place.
If the Mermaid Yard wanted to develop the Trailer Sailor as a joint venture, I would have brought you into negotiations.
Oh, how considerate.
But they weren't interested. I commissioned the boat as a one-off. It suits us better anyway. We retain all the right. I really don't see why you're so upset.
We're in business. Together. That means you do not go off making decisions without consulting me. Do you understand?
You don't consult me on everything you've got planned.
For example?
What about your strategy with Avril Rolfe?
You know all there is to know.
Oh, do I? And what about your relationship with Gerald Urquhart?
That is personal. It has nothing to do with business.
Not as far as you're concerned, but Urquhart happens to work with Freya.
So?
I've been let down by Freya in the past.
Yeah, well, that's your problem.
No, it's our problem if we're in business together.
Well, then you'd better make sure that you're not let down by him again, hadn't you?
I intend to.
What about this summons you received?
A court case isn't a problem. Frey Holdings goes down a tube, it can only benefit leisure crews.
Yeah, just so long as in your eagerness to nail Frey, you don't end up nailing yourself and me. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, I want to be consulted, otherwise we really will have a problem. Good night, Vicky.
Good night, Laura. These letters are ready for you to sign, Ken.
All right, thank you.
Is everything okay? Couldn't help but overhear you arguing with Laura.
We weren't arguing, we were discussing a business matter.
Oh, well, that's all right then, isn't it? If there's nothing else, I'll drop those in the post on my way home.
Thank you. Night, Vicky.
Good night, Ken.
Yes, there is something else. Have you got anything planned for this evening?
Yes, I'm going for a drink with my boyfriend.
Well, I wonder if you could cancel it. There's something I'd like to discuss with you. Wondered if we could have dinner together.
Yes, all right. I'd like that.
You know, Kate, you remind me of the chap who was up before me when I was in destroyers in the war.
Oh, thanks very much.
Never missed a trick. Neither do you, do you?
Not if I can help it. I like to be aware of what goes on around me, which is why I want you to get those documents for me. You will, won't you?
Having lost our wager, I'm in honor bound to do what I can. And so are you. You're not to forget our dinner engagement on Saturday.
Oh, I think if you stick to your side of the bargain, I shall stick to mine. Ah, not now, later. Hello, darling. Hello. You remember Admiral Ray? Yes, of course. I thought it was your car in the drive. How lovely to see you again.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, Jan. But now, alas, I have to fly. I've got a committee meeting at the yacht club. See you on Saturday, Kate.
All right, Francis. Bye.
Goodbye.
How was your day? Oh, fine. But not as interesting as yours, it seems. £160. Not bad for a £20 bet.
That's not what I'm referring to. You never mentioned to me that the Admiral was going to accompany you to the races.
Didn't I?
There you go, John.
Oh, thank you, Charles.
Your very good health.
And yours. I must say I've been speculating all day about the reason for this sudden and rather unexpected invitation.
I wanted to discuss the situation at the bank.
Oh, you mean me being ousted as chairman?
Yes, indeed. Came as quite a surprise when I heard.
It came as quite a surprise to me, too, I can assure you.
Yes, I'm sure it did. Especially my father's role in the affair. Surely he could have lobbied other board members to prevent the maneuver.
He could, if he so chose.
Uh-huh. You know, I've been doing a substantial amount of business with the bank lately, and, well, it's just possible that I could be in a position to lobby the board, get you re-elected chairman, if you're interested.
Well, that's uncommonly generous of you, Charles. It does rather beg the question, why?
Well, you and I have crossed swords on a number of occasions, John. I think it's time we put the past behind us, look to the future.
It still doesn't answer the question, does it?
Well, you know, I've always thought that when one is down in business, one ought to be able to turn to one's friends for certain favours.
Favours? It's a word I'm beginning to hate. Usually means you want something in return. Not that you've got any axe to grind, of course.
Of course.
But if ever I was in a position to assist at any time in any way?
Well, now that you mention it, there could be something, yes.
So, what's this business you want to discuss with me, Leo?
I've been trying to develop a powerboat.
Well, so I gather from Abby. But I don't really see how I can be of any help.
The development costs are quite substantial. It's a low priority to the Relton board, so my only hope is sponsorship.
And we thought with your background in advertising and PR, you might be able to point Leo in the right direction.
It depends how much you're looking for. How substantial is substantial?
200,000.
That's substantial. Quite a sum to raise.
The good thing about this is that it's a radical new engine concept. The engine could be fitted to an existing boat, and there wouldn't be anything on the circuit to match it.
And you think you could develop it for around 200,000?
What I need is for someone to give me the chance, Vanessa.
I've already made a start, so it shouldn't take too long. Jack, coffee?
Yeah. Look, before we go over the accounts, Jen, you know you asked me earlier about Sir John Stevens?
Yeah?
If I knew him.
Hmm?
I said no. I was being straight with you.
I never said you weren't.
I honestly don't know him. When I was in America, I did do business through First Global Bank. I think it's about time I told you the truth.
If
Charles and I are found guilty.
Are you?
I'll leave that for the courts to decide. I must say, I never considered securing a healthy return for shareholders an offence, and neither is Charles.
Quite. Supposing that you are found guilty, have you made the necessary arrangements?
For what?
Someone to handle your affairs.
Assuming I'm thrown into prison, you mean?
Not quite so loud, Charles. You put people off their dinner. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, have you thought of someone?
No. No, but I take your point. Perhaps I should.
In the unlikely event that you're not going to be with us for quite some time, I'd be quite happy to assist in whatever way I could.
Does your uncle ever come down from the city to this neck of the woods?
Yes, sometimes.
Well, I'd like to meet him. Think you can arrange it?
Well, I don't see why not.
Great. Hey, listen, we better drink up. We've got a table booked for 8:30.
All right.
Cheers, George.
All right. Bye.
Hey, hang on. What? Kate Harvey? Jack Rowe? I'd like you to meet my new secretary, Vicky Rockwell.
Nice to meet you. How do you do? Mr. Roth, I believe we've spoken on the phone a few times.
Yeah. Nice to meet you at last, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Ken, Laura Wilde was in the office today, kicking up a fuss about the trailer sailor.
So I hear. Don't you worry about her. You just keep building. There's a great market for that boat.
That's right, Ken. It's got great possibilities.
Well, if you'll excuse us.
Oh, yeah, right.
Have a nice
Yeah,
day.
touch.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Nice to meet you. Bye-bye. By Jove, Kate, if looks could kill.
No wonder the way that scoundrel has affected my family.
You certainly don't pull the punches, do you?
Secretary, indeed. I'll lay 100 to 1 she's more than that. Now, Jack,
Hey, just a minute. I mean, not all men are like Ken Masters, you know.
I never said they were.
Oh, then why are you looking at me like that? I don't deserve your evil eye.
Only now and then. Keep you on the right track.
Oh, about Vanessa, I suppose.
No, I didn't come here to discuss Vanessa. I came because I'm extremely worried about the future of the Mermaid Yard.
What do you mean?
Well, I wasn't sure whether to tell you now or wait until I had all the facts. But then I decided that you should be the first to know.
About what?
I stumbled on some information from a friend.
No? What kind of information?
I'll tell you, Jack. About a hotel with 500 bedrooms and a new marina complex. And the proposed site, Jack, is the Mermaid Yard itself. So you didn't know Laura Wilde before?
No, I met her for the first time in America. She was a close friend of a girl I was using for my autumn collection. A model called Nicola Hind. Anyway, Nicola and I were... My wife did not leave me for an estate agent.
You and Nicola had an affair.
Yeah, and Laura won't let me forget it.
Why? I don't understand.
Nicola and I were invited to a party one weekend by a good friend of Laura's. A congressman who had a cabin on Lake Algonquin in the Catskills. We hadn't been able to get away together before, so we jumped at it. It was a beautiful place. It was romantic. Party was great. We were drinking on it. Anyway, I guess it was about 11:30 at night. Nicola suddenly grabs me and says, let's take a launch out on the lake. It was pitch black. We were pretty drunk, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. About 500 yards out, I drove straight into a pontoon. And the last thing I remember is being pulled out on the jetty. Nicola's body was washed up on the shore the next morning.
God, poor girl. Dreadful.
Not long after that, I felt the full power of political persuasion. The congressman was very anxious to prevent a scandal. And with a few well-chosen phone calls, he had the whole thing covered up. I had no choice but to go along with it. I paid a large out-of-court settlement to Nicola's parents, and that is the way it stayed. Except, like all very good secrets, eventually it did come out, and the press had a field day.
Why did you lie to me?
I couldn't tell you.
I'll get us both a drink.
There's more.
Go on.
I never recovered financially. Not long after I came back to England, I was introduced to Ken Masters. I ended up borrowing a large sum of money from him to fund the opening of my outlets.
You borrowed money from Ken?
Yeah. I'm an idiot. I couldn't even keep up with the interest rate payments. Ken just let the debt ride.
Let me get this straight. Are you telling me that Ken Masters set you up in business?
He steered me in the direction of Paraplus. I wasn't the only one set up by Ken. So were you.